Greetings from my house that I have not left in almost 3 weeks. Hey guys, my name is Miranda and welcome to my universe. This quarantine, man, is something that it's something. I have been doing a lot of reading and I actually know a lot of friends who have asked me for recommendations because they've just been stuck at home and they really want a book to read. So I decided to make this video for all of you who are thinking to yourselves, you know, I want to read a book. What books should I read? You clicked on the right video, my friend. I have 20 books that I am going to be talking about today, and I actually am going to split them up by genre, so if you want to see all of the different genres I will be talking about, you can go ahead and check the list in the description below. I'm gonna hop right in, and I'm actually going to start with the genres that I don't read a lot of, so I literally only have like one recommendation for them, and then I am going to go through all the genres until I reach fantasy at the very end, because I have the most recommendations for that one. First genre I'm going to be talking about is sci-fi. So for all of you sci-fi lovers, I swear you need to read Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. For those of you who do not know, Ready Player One is about this society where everybody basically stays at home, but their lives actually become controlled by this virtual reality video game. That is all I'm going to tell you about this book, but I love it so much. Please give it a read. Next genre I'm going to be talking about is manga, and this is one that I recently gotten into. This series I'm going to tell you about is the one I'm currently reading, but thus far the books have been so good, and that is Death Note. In this story, we follow around our main character, Light, and he finds a notebook, and turns out if a person's name is written inside the notebook, they end up dying. I love the concept so much. I love this story. I literally am at such a good part right now. If you want to watch my vlogs, then you can go do that, but they are very, very spoilery. So if you don't want to get spoiled and you just want to read it, I recommend you do that. And then watch my vlogs after. The next genre I want to talk about is contemporary, and I have two recommendations for you. The first one is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. This book is all about a man who actually is a race car driver, and it's all about his career, his relationships with his family. He ends up being accused of something he didn't do, goes to jail, and it's all from the dog's point of view. Next contemporary is one that I very recently finished, and that is 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. This one is actually about a school shooting, and I very, very rarely find a book about a school shooting that I even want to read. It is very rare that I read a book like this. Holy crap! This book is phenomenal. The way it talks about grief, the way it talks about depression, so many heavy topics are discussed in this. The writing is so beautiful. The characters, you just get so attached to them. I love this story. I highly, highly recommend this one. Next genre is classics. So for all of you classic nerds, these books are for you. These are actually my two all-time favorite classics ever. The first one being the entire series, The Chronicles of Narnia. Fun fact about me, this is actually my all-time favorite series ever that I've ever read. Ever. This is not the first one in the series. This is just my favorite one. That is why I'm holding it up. But the first one in chronological order anyway would be The Magician's Nephew. What The Chronicles of Narnia is about is basically this world, Narnia, that is this magical land. It's ruled by this lion named Aslan. And we follow around our four main characters who are all siblings as they go on their adventures in this magical wonderland. So yeah, always recommend this series, hands down. And then the next classic is Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Now this one is a thick boy. This is all about our main character Ishmael as he goes on this whaling trip trying to capture Moby Dick, the great white whale that nobody has ever captured before. So I highly recommend, I love this book, but it is definitely not for people who like quick, easy, light reads. So that was my fair warning to you, but this book is very, very phenomenal. The next genre I'm going to be talking about are thrillers. Now, this first recommendation is a psychological thriller. It's The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. This book is actually also being turned into a movie. I'm pretty sure it's coming out in April. This book is all about an agoraphobic woman, which basically means that she has the fear of public places and of crowded areas. She stays at home and spends a lot of her time spying on her neighbors, and in this case, she actually witnesses a murder. So many twists, it messes with your mind. Wow. The next recommendation I have is more on the horror side, but I do think that it mostly leans toward thriller, and that is The Institute by Stephen King. This book also has a lot of fantasy elements in it because it's all about these children who have telekinetic abilities, who get taken away from their families. They are then put into the Institute where they can be tested on in order to try to make the world a better place. But it's written by Stephen King, so you know that nothing is as it seems, am I right? Alright, so the next genre is mystery. This first one I have is This Is Our Story by Ashley Elston. It is about a group of 5 small-town boys who end up going hunting, and one of them gets killed. The catch is, though, he actually dies from getting shot, and his friends won't admit to anything. So the whole mystery is trying to figure out how the guy died, which friend did it, etc., etc. It's very well done, very good. I love all these books. And then this next mystery is actually a series, and that is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This is all about a girl named Audrey Rose who lives in the 1880s, and she studies forensic science behind her family's back. She ends up taking on the Jack the Ripper case and tries to find out who is killing all of these women. Wow, it's so good. This is definitely a historical fiction mixed in with mystery, and it is a series of 4 books, and all of them are so phenomenal. This is one of my favorite series ever. Next genre, drumroll, fairy tale retellings. This isn't really a genre, but to me it's a genre because I love this genre. How many times can I say genre in one sentence? So the first one is also a series, and that is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is a series of 4 books in which each book talks about a different fairy tale character and puts a twist on it. For example, this is the first one. It is Cinder. It talks about Cinderella, except she is a cyborg. I love any and all books by Marissa Meyer in general, but this one has a special place in my heart. The next book is one that I feel like a lot of people don't know about, and I feel like more people do need to know about it, and that is Echo North by Joanna Ruth Meyer. So this book is actually a retelling of the story East of the Sun, West of the Moon, and it is a Norwegian fairy tale. It's so good. Basically, it's about this girl who lives in this village, a very small village, and her father goes missing. She ends up finding him half dead in the forest, and there's this white wolf that appears to her, and he talks, and he tells her that the only way to save her father is by coming with the wolf to live in his house with him for a full year. I love it so much. Please go read it. Next genre we have is dystopian, and the first dystopian recommendation I have is The Legend series by Mary Lou. This is about a society in which every single person who turns a specific age has to take a test. What specific age do they have to turn? I think it's like 13 or 15. Am I a fake fan because I don't remember what age they have to turn? We follow around 2 different main characters, June, who is integrated into the government because she is very, very highly esteemed, and then we follow around Day, who is basically a mongrel and a criminal, and he does really cool parkour. I love this series very much. Please read it. And then the next recommendation I have is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. This is a book all about a society in which there is this horrible disease that breaks out, killing almost all of the children, and the only children that are left alive have superpowers. But the government basically tries to take over and control all of the children, so they basically put them in concentration camps where they are under a lot of oppression. I love it. All right, we're on to my 2 favorite genres. So this one is horror. You guys already knew this was coming. Do I even need to announce what book I'm going to be talking about next because I feel like I don't need to. It by Stephen King. Not my favorite King book. The Shining would be my favorite King book. You should read that one. But I am specifically talking about it today because it is a thick book and a lot of people get intimidated by that, but we are in a quarantine in which we spend most of our days at home. So I say you take advantage of that and pick this up and read it if you have ever thought about reading it ever. This book is not for the faint of heart. It definitely has a lot of gore, a lot of adult humor, jokes, different things, concepts. You get what I'm saying? But the book, this is a classic tale of horror by the king of horror himself. I do recommend it. It is so philosophical. It teaches you a lot and it opens your eyes to a lot of different things in this world. So please just even consider reading it, okay? And then my last horror recommendation is the complete opposite of it because it is very light, a very quick and easy read, and that is And the Trees Crept In by Dawn Kurtagich. I'm not kidding when I tell you this. This is the first ever book that I have ever read in my life that truly, legitimately scared me. I had nightmares about this book, and I didn't even have nightmares about it, but I had nightmares about this book. This book is so scary. It's about this girl who lives with her grandma in this very secluded house. They have no neighbors. They are surrounded by forest. I love this book so much and I feel like hardly anybody talks about it, but I think it deserves much more popularity than it is getting. And then the last genre, my absolute favorite genre, young adult fantasy. Wow, okay. I decided to talk about books that not a lot of people talk about, so Harry Potter and Percy Jackson are not in this list, though those are two series that I highly, highly recommend as well. First one I want to talk about is any book in the Shadowhunter world ever. Any book by Cassandra Clare, please read it. I'm holding up the first book in my favorite series by her, The Infernal Devices. This was the first book I ever read by her, although it is recommended that you read The Mortal Instruments first before you read The Infernal Devices, and then read The Dark Artifices after this one, and then we have The Last Hours, which is her most recent series. This is about demon hunters. They're half angel, half human. They protect the humans from the demons. There's a lot of romance in these, and I am obsessed. The next one I have is actually an adult fantasy. I lied when I said all of these were young adult, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is a very slow fantasy, so for those of you who like a lot of world building, character building, not really plot driven, more kind of slow paced, then this one is for you. It is about a circus that mysteriously shows up in different locations across the world, and we follow around two characters who basically go head to head in this competition that tests their magical abilities. And it's so good. There's a hint of romance in this as well. I love it. The next one is a duology, so there's two books in this series, and that is Wolf by Ryan Groden. I'm not joking when I say this. This is one of my favorite series I've ever read. I would say I love it more than Cassandra Clare's books. I love it more than Marissa Meyer's books. Like, this series is so good. It's also a historical fiction, so it basically takes place after World War II, but it is an alternate reality in which Hitler won the war. We follow around our main character who actually is a skin shifter, so she can change how she looks, and she enters this motorcycle race in order to kill Hitler. I literally love this book so much. That's what I've been saying for every single one of these though, so sorry, can you blame me though? Alright, and my last recommendation, which just because it's last definitely does not mean that it is the worst or the best. All of these are like equal in my eyes. We have Renegades by Marissa Meyer, another Marissa Meyer series that I love and adore so much. This one is all about superheroes, and it is a series of 3 books. So if you like superheroes, lots of action, not knowing what side you're on, then I highly recommend this one. Alright you guys, that was a lot of books I had to go over. I hope this video doesn't end up too long. Literally, any of these books, if you read any of them, if you have read any of them, please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and your feelings. I would love to start a little chat with you because I literally have nothing else to do with my life right now. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you. Please be safe, make good choices, and I will definitely see you next time. Bye!